say we watch film, and it's not things that people are doing to us. It's always what we're doing to ourselves. So we just constantly each and every day come out and improve, man. And I stay with them on the boards, man. We got to improve, because if we don't, it's gonna be a long season.
New Mexico State's got a pretty dynamic offense. They have a receiver that's 6'6". They got a running back that's former All-American. What have you seen from them that you're gonna have to watch out for?
Yeah, they receivers play hard, man. They got a great quarterback, a great running back. We have to really just come out there. Can't take these boys lightly. They got a good team, and if we just come out there and we take care of their route combinations, their route concepts, and we keep contained on the quarterback, and keep contained on the running back, on the flares, I believe we're gonna be in a pretty good position by the end of this game with New Mexico State.
They like to get the ball out pretty quick, is that right?
Yeah, they do. They like a lot of crossing routes. They like a lot of quick game, and sometimes they'll take a shot occasionally or two. But, like I said, we just stay disciplined, keep our eyes where they're supposed to be, and contain their route concepts. I believe that, like I told you, we're going to be in a good position at the end of the game.
Santos, I wanted to ask you about Montaric Brown. We never got a chance to see him since he showed up so late. How's he doing? Is there a chance he figures in this season?
Right now, they have him on special teams, going into as of lately, I know he's still working with Coach Rose and the defensive staff, getting the game plan down, but I haven't heard anything about him, coming to the game plan yet. So, but I believe they're working him slowly but surely, as I see that they got him on special teams this week. So, that's a good start for him, and we're going to see where it goes from there.
So you think he'll play on special teams this week now?
Yeah, I believe he'll play on special teams.
Thanks, Santos.
No problem.
Last week, Frank and Sosa both expressed that maybe they were hearing from the fans. I don't know if you kind of heard those conversations, but that the fans were getting a little bit frustrated and mad. What would your response be to that?
Like with me, man, our why is bigger than any of that. You can't never let those type of things, outside things, people who don't really understand, get involved with our brotherhood. At the end of the day, God gave us the opportunity to play this game. He gives the opportunity to go out there and grind, and ball, and those fans can give us the opportunity. I love the fans, but sometimes you have to be able to just block that out, and worry about what we got to get better at, because at the end of the day, if they was in our position, they have no problem with what we do, man.
Welcome in. It's our Friday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk. It's our A edition, as we like to do each and every Friday. We give you all the Razorback coverage that you can stand to take you on up to kickoff tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, as the Arkansas Razorbacks will be hosting the New Mexico State Aggies, yet another Aggies team. See if they can just go 1-1 on the year versus the Aggies. But we also want to let you guys know that this show is brought to you by Lindsay & Associates, with locations in Fayetteville. Also 2 locations in Rogers. Lindsay & Associates, we bring great neighbors together. It's also brought to you by Locomotion. That's just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall here in Fayetteville. Go check them out. And it's also brought to you by Fun City. You can catch them off the 412 bypass in Springdale. And if you don't get a chance to catch us here each and every day live on our live stream of OTH, catch us on iHeartRadio each and every evening as we podcast today's top segment of each and every show that we do here on the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And we came in with audio from Junior Strong Safety Team Captain Santos Ramirez. Santos talked about New Mexico State. Also talked about Montaric Brown, Buster as they call him around the complex, and also too just the fans. His response when you hear a lot of negative, as this football team has heard over the last 3 weeks, going all the way back. Really, it goes all the way back to opening ball game versus FAMU. There's been a lot of disgruntledness toward this team, and he was just giving his take on it. And I want to bring in my co-host, producer, Demetrius Johnson, today, and welcome you to the show. But also, too, to ask you, Demetrius, when you hear things like that, there's been a lot of questions from, we as media toward the players and coaches about their feelings for the naysayers that they're, coming encounter with. Do you think that that's a bad thing or a good thing when, as a player or coach, you're continuously asked this same question each and every time you have media availability?
I think that's part of the game, and just playing on this level, you're going to have those high expectations and those certain requirements just for everybody, to please everybody, because You know, as Razorback fans, this is all they have. You know, people are very adamant about the Razorbacks here in the state of Arkansas. So, you know, I just feel like it's part of the game coming to the state of Arkansas. You know, they're held to high expectations. So I just feel like that comes with it.
When you look at this ball game tomorrow, you know, we know J Red's going to be out. That's evident. Who else will you be looking for? I know we talk about T.J. Hammonds. Give me another guy that maybe just hadn't met expectations that he's, you know, this fan base has had for him up to this point that you think really needs to step up.
You know, I'm gonna give a defensive player, in my opinion, that I'm really expecting more from him that I really haven't got that full. I feel upside of his potential this year, and that's Sosa again. A guy that I really feel like I was expecting to come out and have a dominating season on that 3-4 defense. Not to say he's playing bad or anything, but I just feel like he's an all-SEC caliber player, and I still think he can bring a little bit more edge to that defense of having that hybrid defensive end in the 3-4 scheme.
Well, we're going to get you set up because we got a real good show today. You know, in about a week from, or it was a week from this past Wednesday, the University of Arkansas men's basketball and women's basketball teams will be kicking off their season. And, you know, Mike Anderson, you know, Demetrius, has really got high expectations for this year's 2017-2018 version of the Fastest 40. We're going to bring in AR Hoop Scoops, Kevin McPherson. He's going to be joining us in the next segment. We're going to talk a little basketball expectations. Then we're going to get off into recruiting. How's things been going for Coach Anderson and then staff out on the recruiting trail as they've had a lot of in-home visits, a lot of official visits. We're going to talk about who's going to be making their way to the campus for this weekend's football game as guests of Mike Anderson and staff. And also at the 1:30 hour, we're going to bring in Otis Kirk of 247 Sports. When you talk basketball, this is still yet a football weekend. We'll get his takes on what Arkansas has to do to get the monkey off their back, which is that losing streak of 2 games versus New Mexico State. And we're also going to talk to Otis about what individuals are planning to take a look at Coach Bielema and his program this weekend as well. But we're going to leave you out real quick. We caught up with junior wide receiver Jonathan Nance, the guy that everybody's calling Jay Nance. And he's got an added role with the fact that senior wide receiver Jared Cornelius is going to be out. And this is what Jonathan has to say about he and the other receivers.
Well, especially with J-Red down, looks like you're the number one go-to guy. You did that at the end of the game the other day. Do you feel like you're ready to play that role?
Yes, sir. I feel like I'm ready to step up and make some plays for the Razorbacks and for Austin. And I'm just going to continue to keep doing what I've been doing. And everybody else, we're going to get everybody else incorporated so we can start making plays, get our stats up too.
You haven't been here a real long time. You came in the spring. What's been the key to becoming so trusted by Austin so fast?
Well, you just got to, at practice, you got to make sure when you get the chance to make a catch or to run the right route, you got to make sure you're doing everything correct and getting the coach's trust so they can put you on the field. And then when they throw it to you, you make the play so you can get Austin's trust so he can throw you the ball.
You know, they obviously wouldn't have signed you if they didn't think you were good, but you maybe weren't the most heralded of the receiver signees. What do you think's been the thing that's moved you up to the top?
Well, really, I was hurt most of the time in JUCO, so I wasn't recruited heavily. I really didn't think I knew I could play, so I just knew I had to work as hard as I can once I got here because other people had bigger names than what I had. But I knew I had the potential to play, so I just tried to learn as much as I could learn and go ahead and try to step up.
What were the injuries in junior college ball?
Just a foot and my shoulder, which came along at the end.
Which foot was it?
It was my left.
And your right shoulder?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Was that your sophomore year or your freshman?
Yes, sir. That was last year.
Okay, you think you would have been more heavily?
Your corner, junior wide receiver, Jonathan Nance, talked about just his expanded role. I know he's going to be asked to do a lot more. We had Austin on yesterday, Demetrius. He also, too, talked about Jordan Jones. You know, and just the passing game needing maybe one or two big plays to get themselves going. You know, I'm real curious to see how this team's going to respond. I mean, think about this. In about the last 6 months, Arkansas lost their top rusher in Raleigh Williams, and then you lose your number one wide receiver in Jared Cornelius for the season. You know, we're going to find out a lot about this football team. They've solved the issues. I really believe they feel real good about the spot there at the running back spot with Devois, David, and Chase Hayden, all three very capable of, putting up big numbers throughout the remaining 9 games of this year. But also, too, we're going to look out, and I'm going to pay attention really to Jordan Jones, and I'm going to continue to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. LaMichael Petway is a young man that I feel, a lot of people are talking Brandon Martin, but I think LaMichael, with him being here in his 3rd year, he's got to take the next step if he's going to take a step at all. And it's, what better weekend to start than, this coming weekend. Are you feeling that same way? Right before we go to break, we got about a minute, I believe.
Definitely. I think you're going to need one or two of those guys to really help you on the back end of the SEC play. So it's really critical that these guys get these in-game reps and live reps with a team like New Mexico State that we should be superior in, so that when that SEC play does come in, guys are really ready to fit that role.
And we're going to talk to a guy that is really watching the way guys are getting ready in the fastest 40 for filling the SEC expectations they have up. We're going to step away and bring in the next segment Kevin McPherson of ARHoopscoop.com. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins. Back in a moment.